Hello and welcome to today's live. I want to speak on this topic, information governance. Recently, Tinubu signed it into law for Nigeria to have data protection or digital data protection. Um, it's a welcome development. I appreciate that bill signed into law. And just today, I was listening to conversations between the is it the president of the Commission for Data Protection. Forgetting his name now, but he came to politics politics live today or something, or politics today on channels with Sheung last night. So they discussed about it, and being that I'm somebody that works in the public sector myself, I'm very conversant with IG. I'm not IG trained myself, but I'm an IT person. But I know IG is a big issue. IG is something that once you're working in the public sector, in developed world, you have to be trained very well on IG. In fact, I just finished my own IG training, retraining, either yes 2 days ago or something, because it popped up that I need to do it for my work. And what is IG? Simply information governance. It's like you cannot disclose. It's privacy. It's privacy of people. And there's something called data controllers and data processors. And then once you're a data controller, you ask people for their information, whether it's something as simple as their name and date of birth, or their name, address, any identifiable information that you can use to identify somebody. Then you must make sure that you abide by IG rules. And I hear the gentleman saying that in this is supposed to provide 500,000 jobs for Nigerians. It's one of the promises that Tinubu made in his manifesto. I didn't get to read it. I didn't even read his manifesto, but he claimed he's going to give 1 million digital jobs. Out of that 1,500,000 of them are supposed to come from this IG. Not necessarily like he's creating 500 jobs in government ministries, but because every industry, every organization must have a data processing or data protection officer, which is mandated by law and according to him by constitution. He quoted the section. You can listen to him on channels to understand the section of the law he quoted there. So because of that, those jobs, and he said they are training people. So if you're looking out for jobs in Nigeria, this is probably something you can venture in. Go do the training, and possibly you could start working as a DPO. It's a very standard world-class role. And like he said, it's not a legal profession, so you don't need to be a lawyer. It's not necessarily an IT profession, so you don't need to have an IT degree. You just basically do the training. But at the same time, it's good to sort of have, legal background and also IT background, because what you are intentionally doing is to make sure that people's data are protected digitally. So why is this thing important? It's important because people steal data. Data is in fact, the most expensive commodity in the world is information, and that's why governments have secret services to classify documents and make sure their information is protected. Now, apart from that, there is also the legal laws, or the legal framework that is protecting people, especially continents like EU. They have what they call the GDPR, which covers the whole Europe, and I think it even stretches as far as America. It's a framework that all European countries have to abide on and make sure that you have power over your data. You can call any company that have your data and tell them to either destroy your data or tell them not to use your data for marketing purposes and stuff like that. But in Nigeria, a lot of things, people can just sell your data anyhow. MTN can sell your data, for example, to companies that need this data for whatever, insights or intelligence, or trying to do their marketing purposes. And these are very, very standard, world standard things that Nigeria is supposed to do. And there's something that Shehu raised, which is very pivotal. During the elections some years ago, I think it was there was an inquiry done elsewhere. Actually, it's an American election, and they said there's some company called Cambridge Analytics, which happened to have data of, a few people sold out to some government bodies or something like that. And Nigeria popped up that if Nigerians' data was also involved in this. So apparently this commission, even though I've not been signed into law, have been operating, and according to them, they've actually probed about 7 banks or investigated about 7 banks. And I think Facebook had to pay the EU a fine of 1.3 billion euros because of some breaches. So if there's a breach on your data record, sometimes you hear news like there's a breach of data of this company, another company, and that's where data protection comes in. If anybody has your data that you have not given them, then they have to tell you how they got your data. People should not randomly call you on phone and say, oh, are you this person, are you that person, unless you're the one that's giving them that information. So it's very, very important. Now, I also like the way this is going, but just like the subsidy and the floating of the exchange rates, sometimes it's not really the policy signing is the only thing you need to do. There's other elements to make things work, to make things, ameliorate the pain of the, common man. So when you look at things like subsidy, we are now hearing from Asa Yuguda that the marketers and, the foreigners and even NNPC are all part of the scam, the fraud. They don't want to name names, but even when Dubai named names of people linked to terrorism, nothing happened. They sort of, brushed that under the carpet. Those names didn't come to light. So Nigeria are very good in covering dents and covering dirty, keeping our dirty linen under the carpet. But then what happens is that those things will continue to stay there and rot or even smell. So sometimes we need to bring it out, wash it, and spread it outside so it will be clean. And that is what we need to start doing. So now when you look at the subsidy, you've taken away subsidy, but then at the same time, how do we help the price of the petrol? Because what is happening now is that because of the flotation of the exchange rate, pumps might even start going higher because they're going to start buying dollar and everything at a more higher rate, which will even mean more expensive fuel for the common man. So how do you, apart from the 5,000 naira that they claim they are giving to the poor masses, which I believe they're not going to do, because we have about 150 million people, living under multidimensional poverty. So how many people are you going to give 5,000? And how many times have they said they are giving palliative that they've given? Greetings, Alaji Highway. So when you look at that, so I think we're supposed to allow modular refineries to kick in, allow Dangote to have cheap crude. So at the same time, tell him to sell them at cheaper rates because he's getting them at cheaper rates. But then when people buy refined products from imported finished goods, then of course you can't subsidize, and that's why subsidy is out of the way. So they have to sell it high. But since we have a local a local refinery, which is Dangote, now, until we have Warri and Kaduna and Port Harcourt refineries working, we use what we have. So we supply them cheap crude and thereby sell cheap products to Nigerians, and that's the best way to sort of cushion the effect of the subsidy removal. Nobody is saying subsidy is not a good thing. Removing subsidy is not a good thing. Now, when it comes to floating of the exchange rates, there's nothing you can do to bring the naira down except releasing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu first of all, so that southeastern states can start doing business on Monday. And secondly, as you floated the exchange rates, we have to make sure, just like in every other sensible country and Senate climb, the foreign currencies are not in the hands of the aboki and people in the market. The foreign currencies or exchange rates are in designated business places that they're supposed to be. If you want to exchange any currency, you go to money exchange, banks, and buy these currencies, and not going to the market and seeing some lousy guy, with his Abada desk, with loads of foreign hard currencies. Do you think that do you think with Dangote this would be better? I saw something actually that Tinubu signed. So it's not only Dangote that is going to have access to crude. Sorry, it's not only NNPC. There's another 4 out of supposedly 8 people that have been given license to actually buy imported crude. But as it is now, the only person that have local refinery is Dangote, and the only one that is working is Dangote. So if Warri and Port Harcourt and Kaduna is being sped up by this current administration, since they said it's going to come on stream December, say we speed it up, right? Make sure everything is working and make sure they deliver it by December. Then by December, let it start producing. Then we know we don't only have Dangote, because Dangote intends to sell not just to Nigerians but to other African countries. So at least we can have Dangote, have Port Harcourt and all the rest. Then of course it will not just be Dangote selling cheap oil products to us. But for now, that his own is the only one we have. It's a good move that we have other companies giving licenses to buy imported fuel. I can't remember all of them, but it's 4 that have been signed by Tinubu, which is good. Let them all buy these products, so there will be competition, and that's why the market is the one determining. But another crucial thing that everybody is speaking to now is what is the actual consumption of Nigeria's fuel? What's the actual amount of fuel that Nigerians consume a day? We don't know that. So what I think is Pengasin and all the marketers association, they need to ask all the companies, all the oil companies, to make sure they report their daily sales of their pumps. Just the units of how much you sold. Don't need to tell us how much you made. Tell us how much you sold today. All the pumps, because it's metered. So every pump has a meter. You sell, and at the end of the day, your salespeople will do accounts, right? So they know how many they've sold and calculate how much they've made. Now, create a reporting system that they will report the units. That's all you need to do. When all the marketers report the pump meters up to NNPC or anybody that wants to take account of how much we are using in a day, then we can get the accurate figure, because you can't get the accurate figure of what we are consuming by when they buy petrol, because they probably will buy petrol in big quantum and disperse into their retail pumps, and of course it might take a month or 2 before they come back. So it's difficult for you to sort of argue how much they sold in a day, to sort of combine that and see how much Nigerians use in a day. It's difficult. And I think releasing Nanukano can stabilize the situation economically too, because the crisis is getting worse. Of course, the Igbos are not bending, they are not budging in that, they are insisting, just like Sunday who was released, we have to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The courts have also ordered to that effect. This is a new dispensation, a new administration. Nuhu Ribadu is now the National Secretary Advisor, National Security Advisor, which is a good move. We need to do away with the military, let them go and face external existential threats, and let the police, right? So Nuhu Ribadu has police background, so it's a good move. I can't imagine people buying fuel for 800. People should be run based on fuel should be run based on monopoly. I guess what you mean is fuel shouldn't be run based on monopoly. Yes, I agree with you. So, and that's why we now have these 4 other energy firms coming on board, just as we have Dangote. So far, I can see some good motive with Tinubu's administration, but we are here to make sure we are, telling him ways to do it, because there's so many voices and sometimes these people get it wrong. So back to what I was saying with this information governance, is quite important. But before you do the information governance, let me finish on the subsidy. Like I've said, subsidy removal is good, but we have to meet it with other functions of government, which is allowing modular refineries to, of course, to be licensed and start producing. At least, even if it's not the one they called bad fuel, what do they call it? More fire. Let them not produce more fire, since more fire is bad. But let them, the modular refineries, let them produce things like petrol or kerosene or things they can, so that it will help to cushion the demand and also bring the prices down, right? And then until Dangote comes on stream. Now, the other thing I want to speak to is the flotation of the Naira. Now, exchange rates is good floating it, but then the most important thing is that how do we get dollar pounds, euro out of the hands of their bookies. We need to get it out of the hands of mere individuals. In Nigeria is the only country you have mere individuals bigger than institutions, bigger than. Okay, Emefiele he closed down Aboki FX. That didn't work. It backfired. You see? And I understand his intentions. Of course, he wanted to use the right channels. But banks are not happy to go into the exchange rate business if they're not making money off it. So you need to remove money, make it a taboo. Make it an abomination that anybody will trade with dollar in Nigeria. The only time you are getting dollar is when you are using it outside the country. That's how it should be. Nigeria is a naira land. It's a naira only currency. No school should be accepting dollar. Not even the dollar. What do they call it? Is it dollar account or domiciliary account that some people keep dollar in Nigeria? That dollar account should only be used abroad, not in Nigeria to pay for services in Nigeria. We should do these things, do the conversion to naira and use naira to pay for any services in Nigeria. What do you think about Tinubu's administration? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Tinubu's administration. So far, we can see some good motive. We can see like some movement, you know. And the thing with government is that body language matters. And that's one thing that we didn't see with Buhari. Buhari entered, it took 6 months to even appoint cabinet. At least with Tinubu, we are seeing something. Yes, we are questioning the process that brought him into power. He knows P2B won, so we are trying to get that dealt with. But at the same time, as he is there, we still have a president. I mean, government is a continuum, so we need to be telling him what he needs to do, and let's see if we can get the ball rolling. Today he announced, or yesterday he announced about 15 airports renamed after some notable people. Those are welcome developments. You know, you can see an active, even though you might not agree with all his policies. Sometimes, if you checkmate what he's done with what is on the street, you can see none of them have favored the poor man. That is the honest truth. The only criticisms you can give to Tinubu now is that none of his policies, as at yet, has favored the poor man. Our exchange rate is doing well. The World Bank is congratulating him. IMF is happy with him because these are people, foreign investors. These are people that, you know, are happy with what he's done. But at the same time, as you are making these people happy, you need to make your own people at the poor, you know, at the poverty line, below poverty line, need to make those people happy. Because you can't use these people to enrich these people and make these people happy and claim you are doing well. No. So we are here to sort of advise him on how best to do this. Now, the information governance or data protection bill that he signed into law is a welcome development. But we need to get the subsidy and the flotation of the naira rate correct, so that it will help ameliorate the pain. So what am I saying? All the abokis that have access to dollar, we need to find out how they source this money. If you go on pilgrimage and you get foreign currency, you should be stopped and taking that money taken off you. I don't know how ordinary individuals will have access to hard currency, and these people don't even have visa in some cases. These people are because governors have taken this money and given them to go and sell on the market, and they have protection, and they do these businesses. Now, banks that are institutions, that are licensed, that go through a lot of process to be able to, in fact, central bank gave them a lot of hurdles to make sure that they are stabilized and they will not close. And they do all of those things, and they don't have access to dollar. They don't have access to pounds. They don't have access to euro. They don't have access to other currencies. So how is it that Nigerians who travel very well don't have access to money through banks, but they have access to money through individual in the black market? So these are things we need to look at. I hope the office should be given to the right person, which is Peter, because the citizens are frustrating the government because the office was given to the wrong person. Until the office is given to be the right person, I don't think there should be stability. No, the thing is that P2B will win his mandate back. But like I said, government is a continuum. There's no time wasting time. You know, there's no time to waste time. All this while that we've been waiting, Buhari have destroyed so much that we need to start going back on the we need to start changing course to go back on the right direction. So while we are waiting for court to take his due process, and give P2B its mandate. We are here to make sure that, you know, we let the government know what to do and to do the right things. So that is it. So we need to make sure the banks have access to these foreign currencies. And it doesn't stop on signing a bill to say anybody can determine the rate. But if banks don't have the money and they want to sell at 400 or 500 naira, and the black market people have the money and they are selling at 900 naira, the law of demand and supply will come in. And people will just have to go and source the money where they find it. So let's in fact, all the problems of Nigeria can be summed into corruption and implementation of law. And that is where our police come in. Personally, I will say, and I've said this before, in every police unit, employ all these new graduates from law school that know the law. Let them join say for example, in every unit, in every truck, in every checkpoint, let there be one trained lawyer or something that knows the law, to help police in their policing duties, to understand what police is supposed to be doing, to know how to implement these laws. So when you see an aboki with dollar and you ask him, what is your business? Do you work in the bank? Are you a CBN official? Are you a bank manager? He says no. How did you get this money? Because all these things are money laundering. And it's even against the US bill laws as well. You're not supposed to trade the dollar as well. I'm a Yoruba guy, but I believe the office was given to the wrong person. Obi is the rightful man, and only that can bring peace. So that is it. We all know the truth. We know that what's his name? Yakubu Mahmoud supposed to be in jail, you know, for even announcing Tinubu president-select. You know, he's supposed to be in jail because it's about justice and the mandate of the people. So this is it. Now, coming back to information governance, I think it's a very good thing. It's a world standard practice. You know, it's something that is practiced anywhere in the world. And we have a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians who are abroad, who are very conversant with IG, who know what it means to have data protection. Know that your data cannot leak. And that's why you see the Prime Minister of UK, for example, when he was sick, he can walk into a hospital in London there and just freely go and receive medical care, because he know his diagnosis, his history cannot be shared. Nobody can disclose his illness or whatever to anybody. Even these our government officials that go to UK, that come to UK here for medical tourism, they come here and they know that their history and anything will not be shared. Highest, you hear rumors that he is in this hospital or that hospital. But because of information governance, people's information are secured. You are trained all the time, you are reminded all the time that as a public worker, you dare not share people's information, even if it's people you know. You can't share people's information. You can't. By law, you can't. Otherwise, you lose your license. You'll be prosecuted. So, when that bill was signed into law, I don't think a lot of Nigerians even understand what it's about. Even Sean was asking him, how long does it take for this to come into effect? And then he said 6 months. From now that they've signed it into law, Tinubu has signed it into law, and he's barely 1 month in. So from now to December, every organization in Nigeria, be it airport, hospital, banks, and any entity, schools, everybody must have a data protection officer. And your duty in that organization is to make sure you look at the processes that you guys use to look at everybody's file. This one is not you come into somebody's file. So for example, you walk into your secondary school, you see people's results pile in paper, packed in one place in the office. Anybody can come there, go through the paper, take any file and go. You won't even know. So things like information that has people's identifiable data has to be locked out. Confidentiality is key. Confidentiality, availability, and consent of the person you are holding their data. If you want to store anybody's data, that's why any website you go to now, if you go to any website now, you will see that they will ask you to accept for you to have cookies. You know what is called cookies on websites. They store little information about how many clicks you did on the site, where you went to, which link you clicked. If you enter information there, it probably will save keywords of what you searched, and that's how they run adverts or give you adverts or tailored fit adverts. So those cookies, for you even to have cookies on website, every website you go to now will ask you to accept all. You can choose to reject, and that cookies will not function as you visit that site. All these things is because of that GDPR. It's a law, it's a regulation, it's a framework. I'm returning back to work, so my break is over. Okay, God bless you. God bless you, Alhaji Highway. Thank you so much for joining. So why am I saying this? It's a good initiative, it's a good bill, and I think it's a welcome development. Let's stop treating Nigeria as a mediocre country, a third world country. Nigeria has everything it takes to be on the front run. Look at India, look at South Africa, challenging everybody in the world. That's what we are supposed to be. If you talk about economies in Nigeria, you talk about South Africa #1, Egypt #2, Nigeria is #3. Before you talk about Morocco and Tanzania. Hope I get that correct. So, yes, Nigeria is #3. I'm definitely sure about that. So, we are the third largest, biggest economy. So, we're supposed to come up with what is happening elsewhere in the world. And Nigerians are conversant with this. And this is very important because every company needs to digitalize their processes. How much does it cost for you to get, even if you have a little single server where you store information? Digitalize all your records. So that when this, because these agencies, they will start going to firms and they will ask you to show them how you secure people's data. And there are rules, there are guidelines you're supposed to follow. Who is your data protection officer? What do they do? Nigeria is great on paper. Nigeria will never make it with bad leaders. Yes, and that's why we are fighting for good leaders. Nigeria has to make it though. Nigeria has to make it. We are too good to be where we are. In fact, I saw that Tinubu has signed the HND and BSc equivalent. So for HND and BSc to be eye to eye rather than BSc more than HND. If that's what anything, maybe because of grading in civil service, maybe they grade people with BSc more than HND. So people have been fighting to equate it. So it's good. So people can even go to school in Polytechnic and not fear that, oh, because I didn't go to a proper university, I don't go to school. That will even help people to even go to school. Instead of you sitting at home waiting for BSc, if the Polytechnic give you admission, go and study. So we are here to help government, whoever it is. My own is let's fix Nigeria. Whoever fix Nigeria, I'm good to go. Whoever fix Nigeria, nobody cares who is on the helm of affairs. As far as things are working, nobody cares. Even in this country now, the mayor of London is a Muslim. Is it Khan or whatever? Nobody cares. As far as you come to London and things are working, that's what people don't understand. Nobody cares. Do the right thing. So if you do the right thing, whether it's an Igbo man, Hausa man, Yoruba man, Fulani man, or even an expatriate, nobody cares. Just let things be moving. Let's do things the right way. So what am I saying? This IG is a game changer. And government needs to take it serious. Especially government agencies. Why do we have BVN, NIN, international passport, driving license, national card, 5, carrying the same information? Why not streamline everything? Streamline everything. And let police have access to that, intelligence have access to that, so that anything you do, your fingerprint, your data, information will bring you out, boom. It helps to curb crime. It helps. Look at Nnewi. Nnewi now have CCTV. Senator Ifeanyi Oba. See, some part of Nigeria are moving so fast, but some people are not seeing it. Igbos are very progressive. I've said it before, not because I'm an Igbo man. I'm saying this. Nnewi have CCTV. I remember when that CCTV was planned to be put in Abuja and that money was spent and it was not delivered. Look at Nnewi have done it. Nnewi, the videos are everywhere. Nnewi, the whole metropolis of Nnewi, because when you talk about Nnewi, you talk about money. There is a lot of industrialization in Nnewi from the time of Obuawa till now. Innocent, name them. Nnewi has money, so they need to make sure security is on ground. So what they did was they put CCTV, live feed of CCTV on every part of Nnewi now. So any crime that happens in Nnewi, they will get you within minutes, if not hours. Do you understand? These are things we expect in Lagos, in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, in mega cities in Nigeria. Nnewi has done it. So what are we talking about? If you know that somebody can deliver something, use him. The one guy that came, the president of Peter Esele, that is the president of Pengasin, that came on channels today. He was speaking to Sunrise, Kayode and the rest of the team. He said that why not ask Innocent, have a 2-year plan, ask Innocent to produce CNG vehicles. Innocent already have CNG vehicles. He's already started advertising it. What is wrong with me? When you talk about cars, you talk about countries. Jaguar, UK. Land Rover, UK. Ford, America. You talk about Lamborghini, Italy. You talk about the Mitsubishi, is it Japan or South Korea? Toyota, is it South Korea or Japan? So when you talk about cars, you talk about country, then you talk about the Mercedes, BM, German. So how is it that we have nothing that's supposed to help us to boast of Nigeria? Even we have Nord, is it Nord that is in Lagos? These are things we are supposed to propel. We're supposed to be proud of. Flood it in the whole Nigeria. Let people know it's part of the game. Volvo, Sweden. And people don't know, this Volvo has been in Nigeria from time. Even Peugeot. Do you understand? It's from Sweden. It's shameful that some companies are leaving Nigeria. I heard Unilever is leaving Nigeria. After how many years? You know? Some of these companies have been there. Look at Oporoko. Oporoko we are eating is not a Nigerian thing, no. Oporoko, that stockfish we are eating, has been in Nigeria, but it's been imported. Some things have been in Nigeria for long, but they are leaving because of all these issues. No security. How much did they say the Agino? Is it Agino? There was this company called Agino that produced tomato puree. Billions were invested in Kebbi State or so. And because of insecurity and everything, they kidnapped their expatriates. They had to leave Nigeria. These are things that Tinubu needs to deal with. And I think he's doing his movie. He's trying. He's trying. The CG, Comptroller General of Customs, have been inaugurated yesterday. And also, there has been changes in the military architecture as well. The new General of Army General of the military, he's actually created other, So I think let's just support. At the same time, we are hoping that P2B will go in there, because let me be honest with you. We are at -100. So maybe maybe Tinubu can get to, because all these people you listen to on TV are all APC guys. They are trying to give information and help APC to save what APC have destroyed. So they might probably move us from -100 to -50. And people will be clapping for Tinubu. But what P2B will give us is -50 to +100. So no matter how good Tinubu is, yes, I am supporting him as, of course, government is a continuum as a president, but P2B will still give us a better solution than whatever Tinubu will offer. But while he is there, he posted in France that he is still the president. Okay, you are still the president. Let me throw it as a challenge to Tinubu. Obasanjo is a Yoruba man. Obasanjo paid all our IMF debts. Oh yeah, this one is your turn. You are a genius. Pay back all our debt too. Tinubu, you will pay back all our debt. Let's see. It's not about fighting for seats. I want to be in power. When you are in power, oh yeah, use that to your genius mind. Solve the problem. How can you solve the problem? I'm not saying you're not doing anything right, though, but all your policies have favored other people, favored stock exchange, favored the first investors. How does it favor the common man? That's what we have to deal with today. So, going back to what I was saying, it's a good move to have industrialization, to have information governance in every sector. Let people know what is data. Let people take data serious. Let people go away from having file of paper. Paper record is outdated many years ago. There's something called computer. Computer can store so many things. There's something called gigabyte. Even a small phone can have so many gigabytes of data. Store information online. And when you store information of people, make sure you protect it. Make sure it is not easily shared or sold to people. Companies sell people's data. Even your Facebook data, all those things are being sold. When you are ticking, I agree to terms and conditions, you don't probably know what you are ticking. You are ticking that because you don't know where the server of Facebook is. The other day, it was Esai Aguda that said, Visa, this Visa card we're using, all our banks, we are using Visa card and MasterCard. Their two servers are in America. This Amazon that we use for this election, Microsoft, America. America has all your information. And what am I hearing today? I even shared it on my stories, that there's going to be an internet apocalypse, which means they said it's something to do with weather that can knock off everybody internet for months. So if anything goes wrong in America, it's affecting the whole world, because all of us are so reliant on America. And what the America have? Human resource. They have intelligent people. Talk about Mark Zuckerberg, America. Talk about Twitter boss, Elon Musk, America. Even the former boss of Twitter, America. Talk about Yahoo, Google, everything America. Every blessed thing in America. Even when the Britain were colonizing the whole world, everything, all the first innovations, television, radar, everything was Britain then. So we need to build on our intelligence, especially anybody that shows any sign of intelligence. We need to protect that person. Innocent is doing great. Air Peace is doing great. There are some other Nigerians that have done excellent. I like the way all of us supported Hilda when he won Guinness Book of Record. These are things we're supposed to do. When we see people like Victor Osimhen, people who are doing great in their, support them. Support Whiskey, the Burna Boy. Support Thames. Support all these. These are our national treasures. That's how other countries do. Help these people up. Keep them up. Western world have a robust system for governance. Yes, all this robust system is doable. We can do it. We can do it. Get a young IT guy, Ishina Choko. There are so many of them on the street. Like these 500,000 jobs. I don't expect any of these jobs to be given from anybody abroad. Or given to anybody abroad. These 500,000 jobs, get people that have just finished serving from NYSC or people who are looking for work. Recruit from the stock in Nigeria. Nigeria have a lot of unemployment, about 40-something%. Recruit from Nigerian stock. People who just finished doing service, who don't know where to go. Recruit from them, train them, their brains are sharp, they are very wired well, and then put them into the service. Let them go into different companies that they've actually served, or they've just finished their servicing. Let everybody understand what DPO means. Data Protection Officer. Everybody's data needs to be protected. We're in a digital world. We're in a place and time where and information is everything. All these things we call Yahoo Yahoo. Do you know what Yahoo Yahoo is? It's data fraud. Somebody steal your data. That's what it is. So people should know that. Hello, look. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, brother. I know you are a lecturer, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So you are conversant with information governance.
Yes, of course, of course. I've even worked for NHS years ago.
Oh, good, good.
The most, yeah. One of the problems of Nigeria is not even about implementing it. We have the laws and all those protection acts and all those things. They know it, but nobody's ready to implement it. You see, this is one of the biggest issues we have, and that's what Obi could have done. Transparency. How can you implement when you don't want transparency? When you have criminals all over the parastatals, how do you want them to protect your data? You see?
You know that people accuse that it is people that work in the bank that give information to Yahoo boys about information, or people who put money and everything.
That one is even small. That one is even small.
That this kind of agencies or commission supposed to have power, because when this guy was saying that they can find people when data breaches happen, and Shehu asked the guy, said, so how do you know, do you have a system of monitoring? He said, no, only things that are reported, which is okay. People do normally report in this country. They will say, I think but then I was asking myself, do they have rights? Because one of the issues we had with INEC is that they don't have power to prosecute. So those people have power to prosecute. So the guy said, yes, they've actually investigated about 7 banks. So let's just hope that, because if police don't even know the law.
You know what some of them are doing? Those bankers have share. So when those people they get back to them, a percentage thing. But the most shocking thing is that
corruption.
Yeah, but do you know the most shocking thing? Some of these people do this and they run away from Nigeria. And they don't come back. We don't even have any data to track them.
Yeah, I like what this guy said now. A robust system have levels of clearance. Yes. Here in the UK, you have levels of clearance.
Yes.
Even as an IT guy, you can only work with your clearance. There's something I applied for recently. I have to do enhanced DBS. For you to work in the NHS, you have to have a normal DBS. You even pay every year to renew your this online. Then there's one called enhanced DBS. When you're an IT guy, depending on company you're working for, there is levels of your clearance. Now, say for example, Nigeria might have clearance to a particular level, but when it comes to data is a different world. It's different from how you do your paper running and operational services. When it comes to digital services, there is a different level, and depending on how deep you go into the system, like a front desk guy who just sits and receives call or complaints of what is wrong with IT, is called level 1. Then level 2, people who are actually in the middleware. Then level 3, people who are at the back end. Then level 4, it goes up and down. People who are the programmers, people who own the software and stuff like that. So we need to have levels and levels of clearance. But then, do we really have systems to do all these things? So when people say they can give 1 million digital jobs, let's hope. Let's hope this is what he meant. Go on, Luke.
Yes, another area I want to touch is you've seen these SIM scams going on now. Is really heavy because my brother lives in Canada, but he noticed that money was just going out of his accounts. It's because of his old number he was using in Nigeria. Imagine. So that means somebody else is using the number and the person have managed to use the number to hack into his account. Can you see? So even our communication people.
I don't keep money in Naira. I don't keep money in Nigeria. If I put money in Nigeria, I'm using it, I'm transferring it out. I don't trust that system to leave money in Naira. Go on.
Do you know why you shouldn't even trust it? Because they might even block it, and by the time you come back, they tell you one story.
Well, they will tell you that it's gone dormant.
No, I don't risk it. If I need to give anybody money, I give it straight away.
Straight away.
It's more safer to save in UK. Like there's this nationwide, they have high percentage when you save. At the end of the year, you get more money back. Yeah. So why would I save?
Yeah, of course. Even without interest, leaving your money as it is. Nigeria got to a point you have to use your money. You have to use money to get your own money. I mean, how do you trust a system like that? If you are saving in dollar, if you save in Nigeria, they will tell you that the exchange rate now probably save when it was 250. Now it's not 900 or something. You've lost dollar. So, but if you saved it in the US, of course you get more. You get more naira. So, I don't think it's a viable option. But people do it. People save money in naira, and they say when they go back, they will use it when they are there. But for me, anytime I'm going, I'll transfer the money, whatever is the rate then and then. So
now let's do a quick brainstorming. How many industries or how many parastatals in Nigeria actually do training for information governance?
They asked the guy. They said how many people are actually like data protection, because there is data protection officers, and there is also information governance officers.
Yes.
That are supposed to be coming to these companies to check, to liaise with the so when they come, they're supposed to be talking to the data protection officer to tell them you are going to answer how you've been keeping the record safe and all of that. Now, they asked the guy, they said that is where the 500,000 came about, that they have about 500,000 people who have done this training. But they are supposed to be training more because they have about 200 million people. So that's what I'm saying. They're supposed to now eat into the stock of unemployed youth and train them in this thing.
Only 500, that's very poor. But do you know
I've never seen any course. Have you seen any course called information governance in Nigeria University? You don't even know what it is.
No. Do you know another problem?
You don't know what it is.
Do you know another problem? Is that at the end of the day, the way these people skew our data, I'm a researcher as well. It make you shock your head.
Ask you a question, Luke. Do you believe? I don't really believe in Nigerian data. Do you believe in the National Bureau of Statistics data? Do you believe in it?
No. You know why I don't believe it? Those ministries hype up their data so that they will look as if they are doing good on a normal level. And that's the issue.
You know why I'm saying this?
Can you tell me why then is our economy up and down?
Do you know why I'm saying this? Recently, I think it's this morning actually, they were questioning one guy from Edo politics that defected from PDP. He said something that Debt Management Office, which is a big organization or commission on its own, a government parastatal, came and said that we are owing about 70-something trillion, although he said it's projected.
But now they are saying it's about 49 trillion. I'll be 50 trillion. So Nigeria is like different figures are always popping up. You don't know which one to go with. So this is the problem. Although now they've come out to say they don't actually know how many liters of petrol that Nigerians actually consume in a day. They've confirmed that they don't have a way of calculating that, which I've said all the pump that are, of course, the pumps are metered. They're supposed to be submitting data of how much they sold in a day, and that data can easily be collated and actually give us an idea of how many, millions, and give us a percentage. We can give and take, 95% into that. So, what do you think we can do in terms of implementation? Because most of what government is doing, when I talk about government, I talk about what National Assembly is doing, producing laws, what executive president is doing, signing laws. I don't think they are carrying the executive along. Police does not know jack. Our police are living in that age.
Now you've arrived to where I
so
was
how
pointing
do we
out.
train our police to know that, okay, National Assembly said they said about how many thousand bills last the 9th Assembly. So they signed the most number of bills. How many of those bills do the executive know? Do the police know how to implement? Those are the questions.
Yes, you see, this is where the area was arriving to. I told you that we don't even have a system to actually check what we've done and what we have not done. My research, I'm looking at public-private partnership, how the government can partner with the private. But then, when I went deep into this, I say, hey, the big scam going on. They can come and award a road, and they award it more than 5 times.
And nobody knows, nobody cares.
When I say 5 times, I'm telling you.
Look at what somebody said. They closed Lagos Ibadan, this thing, works. I applied that road this time I went back to Nigeria. Sorry, not this time, maybe last 2 years. And that road we are still gridlock, right? Because of that construction. So they have to ease it because of the Eid that they are coming up to do this weekend. So the envisage is going to be busy, right? Now, somebody is asking, how many years does it take to repair road? over 8 years. Over 8 years. What is wrong with Nigeria?
You're even saying 8 years. If I tell you some of the roads just needs pothole, just maintenance, they've collected money for the maintenance, but they haven't done it for the past 20 years. I have the data. I have everything for the past 20 years. And this was awarded and the money paid.
So let's just see if this will work, because we could use this data protection to sort of push for the digitalization of records in Nigeria. And that way, maybe if you go into ministries like Ministry of Lands or Ministry of Works, and they can start digitalizing everything, then they will start publishing it. The guy said something. That Peter Esele, the president of Pentagon, he said that when Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was the Minister of Finance, that she said that she started publishing money that we are allocated to states. So money that states have collected. And after 6 months, she had to stop because the governments, the state governors fought her to a nail to stop publishing. Because people then know how much the states have received and where is the money going. Now, these are things that if you really, truly want to fight corruption, which somebody like Peter Obi will do it. He will do it. He will tell ministries any dime that you spend, publicize it. Let people know. Because these people, it's like our senators. We don't know how much they are paid. They just go and collect money. Okay, fair enough. Let the NNPC have not been giving them money for a while.
That's the mark before this particular government got into the power. So that's the question. Who will monitor each other? Can criminal monitor criminal? It's not possible.
That's the problem. And if we're not ready to change this status quo, Nigeria now has only 3% to spend on government services, and 97% goes to servicing of loans. So the big problem or the big question here is, how then are we supposed to solve Nigeria's problem? So we've got it to a point that everybody, that's why Peter Obi started by saying the money that we are sharing is finished. It's finished. So, but then it looks like this government's plan, unless they show us otherwise, like I said, his body language, the way activity has been going on, let's just say that he probably has good motive. But if it has to be like what we've been seeing before, then that means they want to come and borrow money, extra money, and then share again and leave it for whoever. But we cannot continue like that. Nigeria is depleting every day, and we need to change the course of movement. So information governance is good.
Yeah, so Odera, I want to wrap up because I've got lectures. I'm teaching business ethics. So what I want to say is that the National Assembly, they are not doing enough. How do you keep implementing? How do you keep bringing up laws, and then
nobody is implementing,
checking if this has been achieved? Give us record of the things you guys have achieved. Nothing. So that's where I want to end for now. Hopefully next time I will catch up when you'll be having another discussion and I'll be able to contribute. It was nice to hear
from you.
Thank you so
much. What a wonderful contribution. I appreciate your time, Luke. I know you're a busy person. Thank you so much for joining. And it's very, very important what you've said. How do we start implementing all these laws? Signing paper is good. Giving it to the president to sign is good. Does the police know? Does the police know what is digital data protection? Does the police know that searching your phone is break of your human rights? Does the police understand that looking at your data is not what they're supposed to do? If you tell them that you are such and so person, your data cannot be compromised. Police should not be looking into your data. You have rights to your own information, to your privacy. I strongly recommend that lawyers, or at least graduates from law or people doing internship, should go into the police force, join these guys and train them. Let them know what is the basic human rights. Let them know what of so many laws that all these National Assembly are signing. Where is the sensitization? Where is the campaign to teach people? Let's do adverts. Let's do all these campaigns, these programs. Go to schools, go to universities, launch these things and tell and teach people. Campaign and let people know, let people create awareness and know that this has been signed into law. You are supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Why is CBN saying that when you're opening an account, you bring your national, your what do you call your social media handle? Does CBN itself has a social media handle? Has CBN been able to speak to individuals or their citizens through their social media handle? Or they don't know that other crimes do that? What is their Facebook handle? What is their Twitter handle? What is their email? Do they respond to that? I know how many emails I've written to Nigerian police. None of them have replied when I fell into the hand of fraudsters. So these are what we're trying to say here. What is that? Because most of the crime committed in Nigeria is data theft. Data theft. Somebody will give information. When they give us information, they have broken that data confidentiality. That is what that law is coming to protect. So every company, every organization supposed to have a data protection officer that's supposed to make sure the processes that company is using always make sure they protect people's identity, especially minors, especially children, people under 18, people that are protected, people like judges, people like witnesses. All these things are data protection. That's supposed to be very strong issue elsewhere in the world. Nigeria is easy. Anybody can come and use your information and do anything they like. Imagine a whole P2B, somebody went to UK here and was using his name and information, that he has to be stopped in the airport. That is Nigerians for you. Somebody can break into your Facebook, start messaging anybody on your distance and claiming they are you, and nothing will happen. This popular one people use on WhatsApp. Somebody will use your WhatsApp, text all your contacts, and be asking for money purely because nobody can. And you will see the person's account, they've paid money. Then what is the point of the BVN? What is the point of suffering people to get NIN? When you cannot use that to curb crime? That is what we are saying. The problem is our police implementers. People who are supposed. That's why I said merge all these security agencies together. Merge all of them together. Let them all of them be under police. Let them have departments in that police, and let there be synergy. Everybody work with one database. Combine all this data. Nigerians Nigerians, 200 million. There are so many databases that can easily contain 300 million records. Let everybody be profiled and be in a database. Mirror that database. You can mirror a database and make sure you have more copies of it. Put levels of security and give access to individuals and let them know what is called, of course, there is metadata. So whoever accesses that data, their record will show time that they accessed, who they accessed, how many records, how many hours they stayed on that system. That is how to do these things. Very easy. It's not difficult. The issue is if they will start small, they will be fair, but Nigerian position just talk. Simple data like exact population, no government department can give an exact number, birth and death record in the country. Exactly. You don't go about doing census all the time. Yes, they do census. I think they did census in the last few years. They did census here. But we need to keep record. There is heavy underreporting in Nigeria. What we hear, I want to ask you guys a question, the few people that are listening to me. If you want to know what is happening in Nigeria now, where do you go to? Do you go to A, NTA, B, Channels, C, Arise, D, AIT, E, Instablog Naija, F, Linda Ikeji, G, Tunde North, H, Gossip Mill Naija, I, G Lover. Please, where do you go to get credible information? Peter, I want to add your Bush Radio. Where do you go to get social media? That is it. As a matter of fact, now, if I hear rumor and I want to confirm whether it's true, I'm going to Gist Lover. I'm telling you the truth. When Gist Lover break it, after a while, if I see it on Instagram Naija, then I will know it's confirmed. Or if I see it on Linda Ikeji, then maybe the next day, channels will carry the news. Meanwhile, in other crimes, it's supposed to be the other way around. You're supposed to hear information first from CNN before any other place. In Nigeria, you hear it from Bush Radio, people's mouth. In fact, on WhatsApp, you get more information, more accurate information from WhatsApp. Because there's heavy underreporting in Nigeria. How many times have you been working and you see journalists? They will carry their and say they're journalists. How many have you been working and you see journalists? Journalists are supposed to be everywhere giving information, getting information firsthand. They're not there. So what we are doing in Nigeria is reported. It has been reported that somebody alleged. Nobody has investigative journalism skills. Nobody has information. So what we are doing these days is social media. That's why somebody will die. Another person will be videoing the person that just died. Because he wants to share that information for people to know. And these things are not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. All these things are information governance. You're not supposed to video somebody. It's against their human rights. What if somebody sees that thing and collapse because it's their own person, it's their own family member, and they think that person is dead? Well, maybe that person survived when they made it to the hospital. You're supposed not to be doing these things. These things come from education, teaching the population, teaching the populace, let them know what to do. Information is supposed to be going through the right channel. Journalists are supposed to be given a lot of rights and security and protection. Let them get information. A journalist is supposed to approach anybody, and ask you for information without you, threatening them. Nigeria, do you have any freedom of information? Are journalists very free? Do I even see journalists anywhere? Do you see? So now people have to rely on faceless, because Gist Lover is faceless. It's faceless journalism. You have to rely on gossips, but of course with evidences. So if somebody share you a video and say some people have been kidnapped along Enugu Road, or a road or a community in Enugu State, that's how you will know that some people were kidnapped there. No TV station will carry it. No paper will carry it. There is heavy underreporting in Nigeria. So let's hope we can get these things right. We continue to speak, continue to share. Please keep adding your own voice, and hopefully these things will get to the right of the decision makers, and they will help us to do the right thing. We need to encourage this information data protection. We need to encourage it. Let's get our people employed. Let this be a job opportunity for a lot of people who have just done their service, who are looking for work. Train them, let them know what it's all about. Information governance. Everybody's data is supposed to be protected. Everybody's name, date of birth, Even Facebook should also know. When you are telling Facebook and Twitter that they have to close, it's not to come and pay tax or for you to control people's speech. Tell them that they're supposed to make sure that data are not being sold. Nigerian data are not being sold to companies. Like when Cambridge Analytics was busted then. Those are where government should come in. Protect your people's information. Because these things are very, very expensive. People's data are very expensive. People's political choice are very expensive. CBN has no right to know what you are doing on your social media. No. It doesn't have anything to do with your financial institution. Even your workplace, your political opinion is private. Your workplace cannot, they can, if they want to give you a job, they can see what you are doing online. They will check. As far as you're not a violent person or whatever. But for them to go and see your opinion and use it against you, no, because it is protected. You are protected to have your opinion, to have your right, to have your opinion, to have your speech. You have the right to that. So I'm going to stop here. Please share, comment, follow me on YouTube, subscribe. I'm trying to get followers. I don't know why these things are hard to grow. Follow me and share and comment. Share this especially to those in politics or your family members that are in politics, so that at least they will know things to be moving towards to. And we hope and pray that we'll start getting things right. Honestly. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.